There is a Quebec by-election tomorrow in the riding of Arthabaska. The riding is made up of a number of municipalities, including the city of Victoriaville. It's about a 2-hour drive from Montreal, about halfway between Montreal and Quebec City. The riding's former MNA Éric Lefebvre left to enter federal politics. Joining us now to talk more about this by-election is political analyst Raphaël Melançon. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Good evening, Matt.
Yeah, this is such an interesting time, right, in politics, especially for a by-election. Summertime, people are on vacation, maybe not paying attention to politics as much. So how do you see this race playing out?
Well, it's going to be very interesting because, the timing of it especially makes it, as you mentioned, difficult for parties to get their message through to the population. So, of course, it's a campaign that's going on actively on the field in Arthabaska, and the candidates there are going door to door trying to get people to be interested in this by-election. But of course, a lot of people are still on vacation mode, Matt, so it's not that easy. And in the end, it all comes to the electoral machines, how parties are going to be able to get their vote out, get people to go to the polls tomorrow so that they can ensure the victory of their party tomorrow during election night.
Depending on who wins tomorrow, whether it's the PQ or the Quebec Conservative Party, what do you think it says about Quebec's political landscape right now?
Well, of course, it could be, on both sides, it could be a historic victory because let's face it here, the CQ stands absolutely no chance right now in Arthabaska, although it's a riding that they have won with huge majorities in the past, 50% in the last election, over 60% in the previous election in 2018. But this time the CQ is really out of the race. This is a race between two parties. On one side, the PQ this is a riding that has not been won by the PQ since 1998, so almost 30 years now. And on the other side, you have the leader of the of the Quebec Conservative Party, Éric Duhem, who's trying to have finally his grand breakthrough in the National Assembly. So this is a major race for both parties because let's say if tomorrow Éric Duhem wins in Arthabaska, that means he will have a seat in the National Assembly, and the timing of it specifically, just a year ahead of the next provincial election, would be really that means the PCQ, the Conservatives, could gain significant momentum because, of course, if Éric Duhem makes his official entry in the National Assembly as the session resumes in the fall, all the eyes are going to be on him, and he could get a lot of exposure.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point. For the Quebec Conservative Party, if it does win, if it does end up having that presence at the National Assembly, do you see that benefiting the party heading into the general election in about a year from now or so?
Absolutely. Well, it would benefit both parties. Even if the PQ wins, it would also be truly beneficial to them because it would basically confirm that right now in Quebec, the PQ is the #1 political force. So it would also bring them some momentum going towards the next general election in a year from now. So for both parties, this is a crucial moment. And that's why, as I was saying, getting out the vote on both sides is really important right now because that victory tomorrow, whether it goes to the PQ or to the Conservatives, is gonna make them gain certainly significant momentum and show Quebecers what they're capable of. So on both sides, both to the PQ and the Conservatives, this is a crucial time in provincial politics. Even though sometimes we say by-elections have only a minor, very local impact, this is a by-election that could have potentially a national provincial impact here.
The Premier, François Legault, has said he will shuffle his cabinet, so ministers are certainly going to be changing roles. Le Journal de Montréal, I was reading today, says that according to its sources, this could happen around Labor Day. Now, if things don't go well for the CAQ tomorrow night, do you think the Premier makes these changes potentially as early as this week?
It could come very early because the Premier needs some good news right now around his party, around his government. So he will need to make major changes. As we know, he has promised at the beginning of the summer to reduce pressure on him. He had promised that he would proceed to this cabinet shuffle by the end of the summer, so early fall, end of the summer. So this could happen as soon as this week. What I know right now, Matt, the information I have at the moment, is that the Premier will be meeting with his ministers, all of them one by one, as soon as this week. So these meetings are going to be happening in the Premier's office, and ministers will get to know what's going to happen with them. Are they out Are they being promoted? Are they being downgraded? So this is all discussions that they will have privately with Premier Legault. And so that means that he's preparing the field right now to eventually proceed to that cabinet shuffle. So would it be this week? Could it be next week? But I would say within the next few weeks, certainly we will have a new government in Quebec City. And let's face it, this cabinet shuffle will not change anything to the situation at the moment. François Legault needs something much bigger than that. And that, Matt, could come also, let's not forget that the Supreme Court is going to be hearing the case of Bill 21 as soon as September. And this eventually, this ruling, if ever the Supreme Court were to rule against Bill 21, could be the salvation François Legault is looking for. But for now, I don't think that this cabinet shuffle will change anything in the numbers in the polls right now.
Yeah, certainly an interesting time in Quebec politics. We will certainly, of course, be watching the results closely tomorrow night. Raphaël Melançon, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Matt. And I will be there tomorrow with your colleagues to analyze the results tomorrow night. Have a good time.